inferior, which is not the case. Women are actually the strongest and the most powerful of both genders. And I'm not saying this because I'm a woman, but I'm saying this because women go through a lot. Women nurture and they nurse. You know, women bleed every month. I'm sure if you bleed for 1 month, you're going to be crying. I'm pretty sure. Women
they at all. I was just choked with a
women
pain.
Always,
just a pain. I bled just few minutes. I almost reached heaven. So,
women always have to fight for themselves. They always have to prove themselves to men. They always have to, say, you know what, I went to school and it's not just my titties that matter. You know what I have in my brain is actually important.
Definitely.
They always have to, there's always that struggle to prove yourself, to stand out. But with a man, it's different. When you see a man, everybody just sees power, they see authority. But when they see a woman, they are looking for a man. That's the thing. When you see a woman, they are always looking for, who is she married to? What is she?
Yeah.
Basically, nobody gives the woman credit. Do you get me? In this part of the world, if you're not married at some age, you are wasting, basically. Which is sad.
Yeah, that's
because
right.
Because the male gender doesn't have to feel like they're wasting. That's a very depressing. And you know the thing with Nigerians, like they pressure and judge you till your breaking point, basically. I know somebody that's like 29 now. She's not married, but everybody's on her case when there's people in Somalia that are hungry, but everybody they're on her case. Why aren't you married? Why don't you have children of your own? What are you doing? Oh, now you want to be a career woman? What's that all about? Do you get me?
When there is a crisis in Ethiopia, Tigray, I mean,
there are other things we could be bothered about, but no, manipulate the whole the dynamics of this story.
Situation.
The woman has to do this. It's not the nicest to happen to any gender. Honestly, no man ever has to feel like when they're 30 they're wasting. But women constantly are reminded when they're 30 and you don't have a husband, you don't have a kid, what are you still doing here? So it's not fair at all. It's really not fair.
So talking about still on gender equality, you've been able to establish that definitely the society is not really giving the women gender the what's it called now? Credit in most of those things. They are actually thriving hard, and when we check into the fashion industry all over the world, the female gender are actually the one that are, most of the times the big brain behind it, that's very massive industry all over the world. But it's like a suppressed thing that and it's very saddening that they don't get the actual credit that they should be accorded. You get, and let's quickly drift into the political settings now. Recent, I think we had a global breakthrough at the World Trade Organization, right? WTO, having the Nigeria's Okonjo-Iweala being the Director General now, or Secretary General of that wonderful and huge and massive global agency. What do you have to say about women who have to work their way up the political ladder? Or what have you to say about that? Most of the times, many people think, she has worked the way up to the top, becoming a senator. She must have dashed herself out to several of those, mighty power. Hello, are you there? So, it's just kind of saddening what you think about those who actually find a way to struggle and enter into the political sector, despite the society trying to suppress them. They still find the vigor and the guts to climb that ladder, and at the end of the day they end up getting stuff like, she dashed herself out. What do you have to say about that politically?
Quote me anywhere. Honest women have to work 5 times harder than any man.
Oh, why? Why is that?
Because I'm gonna speak because I'm Nigerian, I'm African, and I'm gonna tell you from experience. Okay, the average Nigerian man, yes, thinks he's the most powerful person in the world. The average Nigerian man would never want a woman to be superior over him. The average Nigerian man is very archaic in thinking. Do you understand me?
All those ones for us.
What can I say? Y'all be doing the most.
That's a very huge Grammy.
Okay. To be stereotypical or anything, but this is from experience, you know. I've, you know, there are times where, you know, I've wanted help. I've had pure intentions, and I've just, you know, wanted somebody, an older man, to help me, you know, just push some things or mentor me, and it all boils to, are you going to open your legs or not? What Mrs. Okonjo-Iweala is like doing right now, this is like, she's a role model for like virtually every aspiring female Nigerian or African. She is
even in the world.
She is somebody that, you know, she gives the Nigerian child, the Nigerian female, the African female hope that, you know, someday I could be there, and I don't have to let anybody touch me or take advantage of me. Do you understand? Plus, minus the fact that, you know, women get taken advantage of. Some people like it. Some lazy people. Some people that want shortcuts. They have assets. They have the assets for the job. So you know what? They just use that. They fluff that, and you know what? They get what they want. But honest women have to work 5 times harder. You understand me? When you have certain principles, there are people that are really psychotic. You know, just make you feel like, what are you doing? Like, what? Everybody's doing it. Why can't you? What is wrong? What makes you so special? Do you understand me? And it's really hard to hold on to like certain values like that when there's stuff like, you know what, everybody's doing it. You cannot get that. Even to pass for something that you deserve, just for the lecturer to pen it down for you, you have to. I've experienced that before, and I kept on refusing. I was scared. Like, I was my first year. I was really scared. What's happening? Never has an older man, you know, made such advances towards me. I didn't know how to like broach the topic with my parents, you know. So I was like, you know what? I'm in university. I can handle this. Blah 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 blah. But you know what? He making advances and and it got so scary because I couldn't go to class because he'd be looking at me funny. You know, I just didn't feel safe. You know. So basically, women have it tougher. I agree that there are also like some men that go through these kinds of, you know, experiences. There are hardworking men that women will say, okay, fine, you know what, if you're trying to get there, you have to, you know, make me climax or something like that. Do you understand? I understand, like, but it's way more common with female than the male gender.
I agree.
Yes, and so something sorry, what was you saying? What were you saying?
Go ahead.
No, don't worry.
Just go ahead. I'm still gonna ask my question.
Okay. So something.
No.
Like,
it's gonna be elaborate though.
Yeah, something, for example, for a woman, you know, being in a position of authority, be it politics, you know, be it whatever, even in churches, you know, there is a lot of, you know, difficulty because the average woman is just, when an average man looks at a woman, or when like a group of men just looks at a woman, they just see emotions. They feel like women are not strong enough. They feel like we're weak. They feel like we're inferior. They feel like we can't handle it. We let our emotions get the best of us. They tell you men don't cry, but you see women cry. Does she have the balls? No, she does not have the balls. So it's it's really tough. It's really tough for a woman, you know, to get there. But what God cannot do does not
exist.
Does not exist.
Oh, beautiful.
So you know what? We can still get there. We can still get there without having any man take advantage of us.
Do you think what you now, as to what you just said, do you think it's one of those reasons why whenever a woman gets to assume a role of power, become so bold and the place like so difficult as though it were. We all see what Nancy Pelosi, the way she dealt with Donald Trump in the United States. Most of the time they tend to be very fair. So people would assume that they are very weak. Is that why they actually do that?
You know what? This question, I don't even know what to say. But if you were close to me, I would throw you a pen.
You joke.
What? What are you saying?
You joke.
I assume a role of power, and you want me to be smiling with everybody. You want me to seem weak when I am constantly fighting to keep my position. When I'm constantly fighting to prove myself. Stop. Come again.
Men does.
Men don't have to do that because they don't have to prove themselves. They don't have to prove themselves.
So do you think with respect to what we've just established now, the female gender as well has caused a bit of sort of incompetence on their part, trying to showcase themselves? I think what a man can do, a woman can do better, isn't it?
That's the narrative. Yeah, I'm not really sure I get your question. Are you asking when a woman assumes a role of position that she, what you're saying?
Like, yes, she tends to hold it like too firm. Is it to prove a point that yes, I can do it, or it varies or something?
A lot of people there are a lot of different people in the world. Some people to prove a point. Some people because they are ringing their calabash in the village. Some people because they just want to frustrate you. Some people because they have finally gotten there and they want to show you pepe. But I think, at the basics, as a woman, if I'm able to assume a role of power, I would definitely be firm with you because every day of my life is a struggle. Every day I have to prove that I am better than all the men where I work. I have to prove that I'm more than just somebody with titties and a nice boy that would walk and everybody would just be looking at me. I'm more than a sex material. Everybody just sexualizes the female, the average female. So I will hold that position tight because I will not give any room for anybody to doubt my competence. Yes. So when a lot of people do, I understand that because the woman, the female, always very underappreciated. She's not given credit for anything. Do you get me? She has to work 5 times harder than any man. So when I get there, what are you saying? Oh please, I will hold it. So
you're gonna do some peppering stuff.
I will pepper you. You see my calabash. They should ring it. I will ring it from here.
You say, well, what do I have to say?
Okay. I will have them ring it. No.
But okay, you know what? We've been talking about those women who have actually made it. I remember this woman, this NAFTA woman in Nigeria here. She was I've forgotten her name. She was so she was so influential in this in the NAFTA coffee thing. So we have many of those women. They were able to attain such roles and positions because they had good access to good education. But do you think education wise we have been able to bridge the gap with the gay child?
No, I don't think so, because there's still a lot of people that think the woman should end up in the kitchen. The woman is only to cater for her family and give birth to children. And that is a very, permit me to say, stupid mindset.
Yeah,
I think it is very wrong for anybody to have that kind of mindset in 2021. I think it's just my English vocabulary. I've closed the book. There's nothing. What word can I use to describe such stupidity? Because
it's from abuse.
Really doesn't make sense. Aside from skills that one can learn, education really prepares you not only for a career but to succeed in a competitive environment. You wake up in the morning and you hear somebody has invented this, somebody has invented that, and you are just sleeping on